One night anyway.
Call the meeting of Forensic County Board of Supervisors to order. Can I get a motion that we go into order?
Second.
It's been moved to second that we now go into order. All those in favor, roll call vote.
Supervisor Brown.
Aye.
Supervisor Kane. Supervisor Conwell. Chair A.
At this time, if I can have everyone to please stand for the pledge of allegiance and a moment of reflection.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
If we can now pause for a moment of silence. Thank you. At this time, can I get an approval of our agenda?
Chair Astrop, staff requests that you amend the agenda as follows. Under section 7, items with appointment, add item D, introduction of new employees. And under item 10, new business, item C, add request for advertisement of public hearing for IT tax rates.
I'll make a motion we approve the agenda as amended. Second.
It's been moved and second that we approve agenda as amended. All those in favor with the roll call vote.
Supervisor Brown.
Aye.
Supervisor Kane.
Aye.
Supervisor Conwell.
Aye.
Chair A.
Aye. At this time, if I can get approval of the consent agenda to include approval of minutes, budgetary matters, and warrants.
I move that we approve the consent agenda. Second.
It's been moved and second that we approve consent agenda as presented. All those in
A
favor,
statement I'd like to make from the last meeting on a consent agenda. We discussed the Water Park Association, and one of the things I know was said much stated going on, and of course I've never had a discussion with anybody on this board about the Washington Park Association. And also, it was also stated that we want to run the Washington Park Association the same way we do the Global Common. The Global Common is an event venue, it's not a community center. So there's no way you can run a community center the same way you run a convent vendor. And I would love to also add is the why, the how, and the when. And that would be something I guess we can discuss at a later time. I don't know why we want to do it, how we gonna do it, and when.
Okay, but the consent agenda is things that are in the minutes.
Right.
Do you have anything in the minutes?
Right, right. At the last meeting, it was stated that we want to run the Washington Park Community Center like we did at the Overview Common.
Is there anything inaccurate about the minutes?
Hmm?
Is there anything inaccurate about the minutes?
Well, I'm just making a statement that you cannot run those two benches the same way.
Okay, well, let's pass what's accurate in the minutes first, and then we can have that discussion. Can I get a motion that we approve a consent? Well, actually, I had the motion in the second. All those in favor of the roll call vote?
Supervisor Brown.
Aye.
Supervisor Kane. Supervisor
Aye.
Conway. Chair A.
Aye. Okay, now that we have accepted what is factual, you can say your comment.
No, what I was saying is the statement was that we want to run the Washington Park Community Center the same way we do the Golden Leaf Common. The Golden Leaf Common is an event. Anything that happens and take place at the Golden Leaf Common is gonna come with a fee. Nobody uses it regardless without a fee. The community center, over there was more community center, but we had an organization that was running it at no cost to the Greensville County Board of Supervisors. And I'm just puzzled why we would want to run a facility at the cost of the taxpayers when it was running with no cost to the taxpayers.
Well, that's not factual information as of yet, so while we're still working on that process, we will discuss that at a later time. So at this time, can I get a motion that we now go to public hearing?
You're saying it's not factual, that it's not costing the county anything to run Washington Association?
Right, because we don't know that answer yet, because we're still doing our
I do
investigation.
know the answer. As of right now, the Washington Park Association is running it and not costing the county a dime. I do know that's factual.
Can I get a motion that we now go into public hearing?
Second.
It's been moved and second that we now go into public hearing. All those in favor of the roll call vote?
Supervisor Brown.
Aye.
Supervisor Kane. Supervisor Conway.
Aye.
Chair A.
Aye.
Thank you. Chair A. We have tonight before us for public hearing is a notice of the proposed real property tax increase and setting of the personal property tax rate, which is attachment E in your agenda packet. Just to go over and review what was advertised, the assessment increase, the total assessed value of real property, excluding additional assessments due to new construction of improvements to property, exceeds last year's total assessed value of real property by approximately 61.53%. The lower rate necessary to offset the increased assessment. The tax rate, which would levy the same amount of real estate tax as last year, when multiplied by the new total assessed value of real estate, would be 41 cents per $100 of assessed value. That rate will be considered the lower tax rate. The effective rate increase, the County of Greensville proposes to adopt a rate of 55 cents per 100 of assessed value. The difference between the lower tax rate and the proposed rate would be 14 cents per 100 or 34%. The difference will be known as the effective tax rate increase. Individual property taxes may, however, increase at a percentage greater than or less than the above percentage. Based on the proposed real property tax rate and changes in other revenues, the total budget of the Greensville County, Virginia will exceed last year's by 3.5%. We also have the following tax rates, which will remain unchanged, which is personal property at $5 per 100, 0 for aircraft, $4 for machinery and tools, and 0 for farm machinery and livestock. This is a result of going through the reassessment process. We go through this process every 6 years. Since the last time this was done in 2021, many things have changed in the world. COVID has happened, costs continue to increase. However, our tax rates have not increased since that time. What I'd like to show you this evening is a chart. I think many folks are under the impression that Greensville is very high, but when you look at the surrounding areas, we're one of the lowest in the surrounding areas. I'd like to point out the one at the top, Mecklenburg County, that's 36 cents. They just dropped their tax rate. And the reason they dropped their tax rate, they have several data centers, including Microsoft, as well as some other private government data centers. So that is why they were able to drop their tax rate. They not only dropped their tax rate for personal property, for real estate, but also for personal property. If you look in the area, we're one of the lowest in what we consider the crater region. For many state agencies throughout the area, we're part of the crater regions. We're actually one of the lowest. Even when we were 67 cent, we were still very low. And what's being proposed in the FY27 budget is 55 cent. If you'll see that you have Dinwiddie, Charles City, Southampton, Surrey, Prince George, Emporia, Hopewell, Colonial Heights, and Petersburg. All of those areas are in the crater region, and they're all much higher than what Greensville County will be. As a note, the last tax increase was tax year 2014. Even during the 2020 reassessment, the tax rates were not lowered. And again, the board is proposing to drop the rate from 67 cent to 55 cent. As I mentioned earlier, costs have continued to increase, especially since the existence of COVID moving forward in everything that we do, even things as simply as dumping trash, paying for trash to be dumped at the landfill. All those things have increased in cost in what we have. All of our personnel costs have continued to increase, yet since 2014, we have not had a tax increase. So I wanted to point that out again. Mecklenburg has those two asterisks there, because theirs is a lot in part due to the data centers that they currently have in place. That's why their tax rate is so low. And Brunswick is 50 cent and Sussex is 53. And again, Greensville is what being proposed in the FY27 budget is 55 cent.
Gary, I have a question.
Yes, sir.
Someone asked me about commercial. What do you pay for commercial? I have no idea. I know we were dealing with the real estate, but is there the same dollar, different dollar amount if you paying the real estate taxes on commercial
The
property?
difference will come into play with like your machinery and tools, things of that nature. And those rates are staying unchanged. They're staying the same.
Thank you.
Questions?
Is there anyone here that would like to speak on the tax rates?
Yes, we have one person who signed up for the public hearing, and that is Mr. Tom Slippy. And before he comes up to speak, just want to remind citizens that this public hearing is an opportunity for you to share matters of interest to you with the Board of Supervisors. During this time period, the board does not engage in dialogue nor respond to questions from speakers. In the back of the room, there was a sign-up sheet for comments for public hearing. Citizens need to sign up if they wish to address the board. There's a 3-minute time limit for each speaker, and the time will be strictly enforced. There's a clock in front of us. If you have a question, staff will make note and respond later. Please be sure that your comments are civil and that they do not defame or disparage individuals or groups. Before you begin speaking, state your name and address for the record. So Mr. Tom Slippy.
Good evening, Board.
Please.
I understand the explanation that this allows us to not only be competitive perhaps, but lower than the other people in this district. But my question would be, what are we getting for that?
Can you please state your address for the record? As he said right at the
Post
end.
Office Box 247 in Emporia.
Thank you.
And even though there's a raise, and it's not as much as it could be, it's still a raise. And so I think it's a fair question. We must have saved some money because our city manager, our county manager, excuse me, is doing the county and the assistant manager's job. So we must be saving some money somewhere. So I'd like to know what we're getting for that. Does that count in my 3 minutes? Or do I get no response?
Generally, as I stated in citizens' comments, usually it's not a time when the board responds to you. If you have a question in reference to that, we can write down your question and staff will get back to you. That's all we have signed up for public hearing.
Can I get a motion that we now return to regular session?
I move we return to regular session.
It's been moved and second that we now return to regular session. All those in favor, roll call vote.
Supervisor Brown.
Aye.
Supervisor Kane.
Aye.
Supervisor Conwell.
Aye.
Chair A. Straw.
There is no action resulting tonight from the public hearing. This tax rate adoption will be part of the FY 2027 budget adoption meeting, which is scheduled for Wednesday, June the 17th at 10 a.m.
I am moving on to items with appointment, proclamation, Family YMCA of Emporia celebrating 25th anniversary. I'm gonna read the proclamation. Whereas for 25 years, the Family YMCA of Emporia, Greensville has offered programs and activities that promote a healthy mind, body, and spirit for residents of the city of Emporia and Greensville County. And whereas the Family YMCA of Emporia, Greensville first opened its doors on June 27th, 2001, and was established through the visionary leadership and dedication of volunteers who sought to strengthen the quality of life for local residents. And whereas the Family YMCA of Emporia, Greensville began as a small storefront facility at 510 North Main Street, and through strong community support and growing participation, expanded twice before the construction of its permanent 27,000 square foot facility, which was completed in partnership with Greensville Memorial Foundation and opened on November the 10th, 2009. And whereas the Family YMCA of Emporia, Greensville's current facility consists of a wellness center, group exercise rooms, childcare spaces for ages 3 months to 15 years, a full gymnasium, and an aquatic center. And whereas the Family YMCA of Emporia, Greensville has become a community gathering place for all ages by offering wellness programs, fitness opportunities, senior activities, high-quality childcare, and outreach programs that promote health, wellness, and character development. And whereas the Family YMCA of Emporia, Greensville has ensured that its programs and services remain accessible to all in the community, regardless of age, background, or income, by providing need-based financial assistance. And whereas the Family YMCA of Emporia, Greensville currently employs approximately 70 people and has become a trusted nonprofit organization in the community, as evidenced by its many partnerships with our local agencies and organizations. Now therefore be it resolved by the Greensville County Board of Supervisors that the Family YMCA of Emporia, Greensville be hereby commended and congratulated on its 25th anniversary in recognition of its dedicated service and lasting contributions to the citizens and surrounding community. This, the first day of June, 2026.
I'd like to make a statement, if I don't mind. When we all came together, it was 38 of us, and all of us put up a certain amount of dollars to get the YMCA started. And tonight, I do happen to notice that I was one of those persons, I think Dr. Wilson, we was all on that board originally, when it actually got started. I think we started out with a little church, I believe, on Park Avenue, when we had our first meeting there.
And Chair Astrop, Mr. Futrell, the executive director, is here along with some of the other YMCA staff and members.
If we can have you to come forward now, please. On behalf of North County Board of Supervisors, we want to present you all of this proclamation and congratulate you on 25 years of service to our community.
Thank you very much. We're grateful for the support of Greensville County and all y'all done for us over those 25 years. So it's an honor to be here.
Ready? 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Thank you.
At this time, Mr. Jay Ellington, Executive Director for Prater PDC, South Central Transportation Authority.
Thank you, Madam Chairman, Supervisors. I've had the opportunity to meet with several of you and try to give you some of the information about the creation of the Transportation Authority in our region. You'll remember, we have several close to us. We have one in Northern Virginia. We have one in the Hampton Roads area. And if you'll remember that map, kind of left our area out of that region. when I had the opportunity to go to Southside PDC, I talked to them also about all three of their counties joining. I had two of them already on the list because my committee had come up with that. And after we had some discussion, Halifax said they'd like it to be considered as well. So it would help us in the transportation movement in our region to be able to move both north and south on 85, 95, and east and west, primarily on 58. But those are just part of the monies that would be generated. The money that would be generated to support this would come from gas tax and diesel fuel tax that's already been taxed in our gas and diesel in the wholesale area. And so it would take that money from VDOT and give it to us as a local authority to control that money. That's one thing that's really important, is the local control of that money. It would also add 0.7 cents to the sales tax at the state level. If you remember, it's 6.3 cents. This would add the rest of that cent, which would take the sales tax up to 7 cents. That would be seen on all retail sales in the region as well. We've had some examples of some projects that might happen in the region as well. We have a list of those. Some that what we really think will happen to us in the future would be we are able to move projects forward because we have control of those monies. We're able to bring those monies forward, whether it's a regional project, an individual project, or a public transportation project. 3 different ways that we can split those monies up and use them. In the creation of a board or an authority board that would govern this, we recommended 1 individual for each jurisdiction. Some of the other authorities had jurisdictional weight by how many citizens they had in their area. My example for you is Chesterfield County, I think, has 4 representatives on the CDTA, which is the Richmond-based Transportation Authority, because of their number in their population is a little over 400,000. So they have 4 representatives. But we recommended, because we've done so well in our regional jurisdiction, coming to the table at our crater, at the Tri-Cities MPO. We've always done very good at having discussions, bringing to some conclusions, and then voting in that process. And I know Mr. Brown gets a chance to come visit with us at the crater planning quite frequently, as well as Gary gets there. So we appreciate that cohesiveness that we've been able to create in the region. And so this is an opportunity for you to consider and to vote later on a resolution that would support this transportation authority for our region. And with that, I'm here to answer any questions you might have.
Can you just maybe tell exactly what some of the routes would be?
I didn't have specific ones, but my example for you is if there are some areas in the county that need an improvement in an area that may be a 4-way stop, it may be a roundabout, it may be a right turn lane. So those things would then have a funding source to get them moved up in the process. And that's probably the best example I can give you for countywide transportation.
Thank you.
Just depends on the location where we want it, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And you'll be one of the votes in the jurisdictions that will be represented. Right now, we've got, I think I have 5 or 6 already who passed resolutions. And my goal was to get around to everybody and try all of our jurisdictions, make our plea and tell you a little bit about what it could do for us a long way into the future. I had some additional CVTA pamphlets that I passed out as well too, and it shows you how they have moved their projects forward. Now, in this last year, our projects in the region moved up too, and it was primarily because some of these other transportation authorities now have their own funds, and they have moved their projects. They've matched their money with VDOT's monies and moved their projects up in the system, and that lets some of our projects come up and get a higher weight as well. Thank you for your consideration. Here, if you have any questions.
Thank you.
As Mr. Ellington mentioned, it'll be action a little bit later on in the adoption of the resolution. As he mentioned, this would be very beneficial to us as far as receiving some dedicated transportation funds that we can commit to our area, as well as also receiving funds that we can put towards public transportation. And this is the first of many steps. We'll have to go through the General Assembly as well as some other steps as well.
Thank you.
Thank you.
This time, road matters. Mr. Carroll?
Mr. Carroll, his next meeting that he's scheduled to be here will be August 2026. He currently is on a quarterly basis. If you all have any road matters, we can take those down. As a reminder, any citizen or anyone can report road matters and issues 24 hours a day. You can call the customer service line at 1-800-367-7623. You can also go online to my.vdot.virginia.gov and visit that, and you can submit an actual ticket, and that will allow them to track the progress of the road matter.
Thank you so much. Next is introduction of new employees.
Tonight, I'm pleased and excited to introduce two new members that have joined the Greensville County team. First, I'll introduce Mr. Donnie Woodruff. He joins us as our new Director of Information Technology. He brings more than 28 years of public sector IT experience with the City of Newport News. He most recently served as the Interim IT Director, as well as previously as Assistant Director. Throughout his career, he has led many major technology modernization initiatives, including cybersecurity programs, infrastructure improvements, and different strategic digital transformation efforts. He has a bachelor's degree in computer science and is a certified government chief information officer. So we welcome Mr. Woodruff to our staff. Today is his first day. Also joining us is Mr. Brian Roach. He is our new emergency services coordinator. He brings more than 20 years of experience in emergency services, fire services, emergency management, public safety. His background includes a number of years at Lifestar. He's also served with the local fire and rescue organizations for a number of years. He's also had many safety management responsibilities within Greensville Correctional Center. He has a lot of training in emergency response, incident command, public safety operations, and we would like to welcome him as well. I told him he's off the hook now. He's not the newest employee. He's been here with us for 2 weeks. So.
Welcome to the team. Welcome both of you to our family. We don't want to say this is a job. You're going to spend most of your time with us, so welcome to the family. At this time, citizens' comments.
Yes, Chair Easter, I would like to remind everyone, just as we had with the public hearing comments earlier, citizens' comments are an opportunity for you to share matters of interest to you with the Board of Supervisors. During citizens' comments, the Board of Supervisors do not engage in dialogue nor respond to questions from speakers. In the back of the room, there is a sign-up sheet for citizens' comments. Citizens should sign up if they wish to address the Board of Supervisors. There is a 3-minute time limit for each speaker, and that time will be strictly enforced. If you have a question, staff will make note and respond later. Please be sure that your comments are civil and they do not defame or disparage individuals or groups. Before you begin, we ask that you please state your name as well as your address for record, and I'll call each person up that signed up. So first we have Mary McLean.
Outside, but it's home.
Yes, ma'am. We ordered a part, so hopefully it'll be here soon. Get this AC up.
My name is Mary McLean. I'm at 49 White Street in Prairie, Virginia, which is Washington Park area. I am here on behalf of the residents of Green. I'm here today. I have written a little speech, but I see I have 3 minutes, so I gotta get busy. Okay, so what I'm here today is to tell you to reconsider the decision that you made at the last meeting to, 1, decline to renew the lease of the Washington Park Association, and 2, to put the community center under the Greensville County management. One only time I've been before the county supervisor many years ago with Mr. Lois Johnson, I asked people to, when we came to ask y'all to please open the Washington Park community center to no avail. And as soon as, and so it sat there for a long time, I know because I pass there all the time. I sat there, and then along came a young man who had a vision. He came in, he opened the center, and he's been doing, let me tell you, he's been doing a fantastic job in my opinion. I've had no problems with him. I've seen what I love about it, since there's such a variety of things going on. He's had stuff for seniors love bingo. They're playing bingo now. Seniors are going, the kids are getting to go here, there, and everywhere. Opportunities they never had before. What an opportunity. The kids, the youngsters are having somebody to watch over them doing daycare and stuff like that. Expert people like that. So I see this because I'm going there all the time. So I've seen what a great program is going on in there. So my question becomes, why now is the lease not being renewed? I'll leave that question because I know you're not going to answer today, but I'm really concerned. And when I asked my supervisor about it, he told me that's a long story. Well, does everybody know the long story? I don't know the long story. So I would like to know the long story if there's something that's keeping the lease from being renewed. The other part of this is fiscal responsibility. Does it make sense when you got a fully funded program that's being funded and then you're going to turn around and say, no, the county's going to take care of it? Yeah, I'm not in Congress, but that doesn't make much sense to me. But anyway, so much is going on there. I wish you all would reconsider what you've done and that you would give this opportunity, give a second chance to this program that's going on right now. It's summer and all kinds of things will be going on. You know, family get-togethers, all kinds of celebrations, everything. And they're just sitting there quiet and nothing's going on. And then I question why you all decided last month to come and do this in an amended agenda way, when I always can watch the agenda so that I know when to come. And I couldn't come last month because I didn't know it was on the agenda. So that bothered me a little bit. Why don't leave that alone? And so I know I don't have time, I got 14 seconds. So I'm gonna say, I thank you all, but remember that the citizens are watching what we do. And they may not have questions. They're not here to say a lot of stuff, but they can say it in a different way. You know, they can say it through votes, through elections, through things like that. So I wish you all well. Thank you for listening to me.
Thank you.
Ooh, I gotta get out of here.
Rick Childers.
My name is Rick Childers. I live at 9641 Purdy Road, Jarrett, Virginia, which is in Greensville County. On May 23rd at 5:56 p.m., my wife and I were driving south on Interstate 95 just north of Stony Creek, and I received a call from my alarm company that there was a possible fire at my home. I immediately told them no one was at home and asked that they call the fire department, which is why they were calling me. Shortly thereafter, I received a call back from the Greensville County Dispatch Center confirming the call. And again, I said, would you please send the fire department? She said, we have already paged them. When I drove through Jarrett, because I was coming down 95, I drove through Jarrett. I went by, as I go by the Jarrett Fire Department, I looked to my right. There are no cars in the parking lot. The bay doors are closed, and the fire trucks are resting peacefully in the fire department. When I arrived at my house 34 minutes after the call, there was no one there at my home. The alarm was still going off. A short time after I got there, a deputy pulled up and said that the county had him come by to see what was going on. Again, 34 minutes later. Luckily, it was a false alarm. However, had this been a real fire, my house would have burned to the ground. 34 minutes is too much time. It shouldn't take that long. I spoke with Sheriff Jarrett about on Monday after it happened, and he advised me that they had made every effort they could to page the Jarrett Fire Department. No one responded at all. Then they tried other departments in the area. Finally, Stony Creek was actually responding at the time that I got there, and I told the deputy that it was a false alarm and he canceled that. I want to be clear, no one from Jarrett ever responded. I didn't want to do this here. I wanted to talk to somebody. I asked for somebody on this board to contact me, and they did not do that. This is an important thing, and I thought it should be before you. And this is a problem I found in the county. I moved back here 10 years ago with my wife. We retired and we moved here in 2016. When we moved back here, I've had several incidents of things where I wanted information from the county. I never get the kind of response that I've gotten in other counties. I've lived in other counties throughout the state. I work for the state, and I just don't get the response here. And there's something wrong. It's a systemic problem in this county where your employees don't feel like they need to be talking to people. And I think you should address that also. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that information.
We have Katrina Gillis Powell.
Good afternoon, everyone. As I mentioned, my name is Katrina Gillis Powell, and I live at 35 Keener Drive, Grand Rapids, North Carolina. As I mentioned in the last meeting, I especially commended you, Chair Lady, for orders being carried out. As I shared a recollection of my childhood, one man who stood tall reminds me of a multiple great relative long ago by the name of Uncle Tommy. You, Chair Lady, reminds me of a lady that stood alongside, which entails both the same characteristics, saying she was very distinct that I addressed this. Aunt Thomasina, well-played puppets, just still curious as to who is the actual puppet master. 3 applicants, give or take, for the RFP Washington Pavilion. Again, names perhaps pulled from a hat or drawn from a straw. I continued with belief that 3 applicants was an ultimate plan of action as distraction. The county had no intent to select either of the 3 of color, a strategic playbook. The truth be told, the most qualified applicants for the RFP process wasn't chosen, even though the committee had selected him by the name of Willie Gillis. Once again, you, Chair Lady, made the process effortless by allowing time to run out merely to the very last board meetings postponed, canceled, and continued for a later time, etc. Whose idea was it to render at a moment's notice an amended agenda with the rejection of submitted proposals, all at the taxpayer's expense? Willie Gillis and the Washington Park Association had neither violated RFP rules nor the lease agreement with the county. More so, the operation that is standing at the moment is at no cost to the taxpayers. Yet the operation of the building by the county would place a rise in cost towards taxpayers' dollars, or even using reserve funds for nonsense that the Washington Park Association offered and perhaps still willing to offer services for free. Now citizens will be paying. More so, let it be known that the budget has passed, no funding for the operation of the building. The cost will be at the expense directed towards the taxpayers of Greensville County. Let me align you with the closing remark by stating elections have consequences. Yet I see that a moment ago that you all did take pictures with the YMCA. I commend you all for doing so. And you mentioned the low cost, yet you have not addressed that the Washington Park Association was at no cost to the citizens that were there and that would be willing to be a part. Have a blessing.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Julie Gillis.
Good evening. Willie Gillis, 2418 Driveway Road in Port, Virginia. 3 months ago, this board decided to render an RFP process for the Washington Park Community Center, just as Ms. Powell and others alluded. And I would defer to you that there is no response when asking board members for information. There rarely is a response. But I did make a FOIA request, Freedom of Information Act, Mr. Brown, last week, to request the information from the RFP. There were 5 committee members, Mr. Brown, Mr. Kane, Mr. Cyphers, Ms. Green, and Mr. Pope sat on that committee. And you, Mr. Conwell, you asked for this RFP process to take place. Well, there were 3 applicants. I won't name all the applicants, but guess who came in first and scored the most out of all? Washington Park Association, through a committee that you all put together. The Washington Park Association scored 366 points The next group scored 271. The next group scored 261. So the Washington Park Association scored over 90 points to the closest ally. Mr. Brown, you ranked an organization that had never provided one iota or one intervention in the community. You ranked them second. And they're not a 501(c)(3). They had never provided any access to the community. You ranked them second. My question is, RFP stated that they would have an opportunity to obtain the lease. Whoever won, whoever scored highest. That has not been done. The board said this was the process. We have not heard a thing from the board. How does a company score points without being in operation and is not a 501(c)(3). There has been no meetings by the board to discuss these matters. If there are, there may have been three people meeting, but not with the fourth member. I want this to be a part of your record to be addressed at every board meeting moving forward so that this can be addressed at the election time. I yield. Thank you.
Thank you.
No one else has signed up for citizens' comments.
All right, with there being no one else signed up for citizens' comments, we'll move on to old business, personnel policy update.
Good evening again, honorable board members. In your board packets was the previous provisions that were brought to our attention from our employment attorney as it related to the grievance section of our personnel policy manual. According to the state codes that had changed, they offered provisions that would be in compliance with the state codes, and they sent a red line version which was included in your packets. Staff is respectfully requesting that you all approve the revisions that have been set forth by the employment attorney.
I apologize, Dr. Lewis, too. I asked for it to be deferred last time, and the time didn't allow me to meet with the HR attorney. Hopefully we can schedule that this week or next week, maybe, when I have available time. So I would like to ask that we defer this again. I'll make the motion, we defer it again. Second.
I would like to say this. Go ahead.
I actually reached out and had a conversation when I found out that you couldn't meet, and everything that has been sent to us, it has come from the state with the highlights and everything that we see in red with the changes and the blues, that came directly from the state policy changes. So it's nothing that Dr. Wood is coming up with on his own. This is coming from the
I'm
state.
not saying it is. I just wanted to speak with hear from the attorney.
And you have a whole month, and you was at the meeting for the whole month?
Certainly was.
Okay. Mhm.
So I believe we did have a motion on the floor, and that was to table it.
To defer it to next week. We can defer it to our meeting later in the month. We can add that to the agenda. That's on 2 weeks.
Okay, it has been moved and second that we defer to our next meeting in 2 weeks. All those in favor of the roll call vote?
Supervisor Brown.
Aye.
Supervisor Kane.
No,
Supervisor Conwell. Chair Astrop.
No. All right, moving on to our next resolution in the new business, resolution 26-63, support of the creation of South Central Transportation Authority.
Yes, Chair Astrop, in your agenda packet, attachment I is resolution 26-63, resolution of support for the creation of the South Central Transportation Authority. Mr. Ellington previously discussed the South Central Transportation Authority. And as he mentioned, as we discussed, this will be a process of the first step in many in the process to move forward. Each locality will need to provide a resolution of support. So staff asks that you approve resolution 26-63 as presented.
I'd like to make a motion to approve resolution 26-63 as presented.
Second.
Has been moved and second that we approve resolution 26-63. All those in favor of the roll call vote?
Supervisor Brown.
Aye.
Supervisor Kane.
Aye.
Supervisor Conwell.
Aye.
Chair A. Strong.
Aye. Moving on, boards and commission appointments, Crater Planning District Commission, 4-year term. Our previous appointee is Gary Cyphers.
I make a motion, we reappoint Gary Cyphers.
Second.
It's been moved and second that we reappoint Gary Cyphers to the Crater Planning District Commission. All those in favor of the roll call vote?
Supervisor Brown.
Aye.
Supervisor Kane. Supervisor Conwell.
Aye.
Chair A. Strong.
Aye. Moving on, Crater Regional Partnership, Chairman of the Board of Supervisors and Chief Administrative Officer. Term is at the discretion of the appointee. Previous appointee is Gary Cyphers.
I move that we reappoint Gary Cyphers.
Second.
It's been moved and second that we reappoint Gary Cyphers to the Crater Regional Partnership. All those in favor of the recall vote?
Supervisor Brown.
Aye.
Supervisor Kane.
Aye.
Supervisor Conwell.
Aye.
Chair A. Strong.
Aye. Moving on, Transportation and Safety Commission, election district, and they are 2-year terms. First is Mr. Cornell Hines from District 1, Wayne Fetco from District 4, Daniel Garrett from District 4, Michael Whitaker from District 3, Adolph Robinson from District 1, Lauren Allen from District 2, Lynn Hobbs from District 2, and Elvis Blunt from District 4. I'm sorry, District 3, excuse me.
I make a motion that we reappoint all of these candidates.
It's been moved in second that we reappoint all candidates for the Transportation Safety Commission. All those in favor of the recall vote?
Supervisor Brown.
Aye.
Supervisor Kane.
Aye.
Supervisor Conwell.
Aye.
Chair A. Strong.
Aye. Moving on, Meharry Regional Library Board is an at-large appointment for 4 years. Our previous appointee is Ms. Jane Bush. She has served 2 terms and Boone, and she has served 2 terms and now she is ineligible for reappointment. And Jean Baker, who declined her 2nd term.
I'd like to nominate Mr. Kelly Jordan.
I have a nominee for Terry Lee. It's 2 positions.
Yes, 2 positions.
Right.
Can I get a motion that we close on this evening?
I move that we close the nomination.
Been moved to second that we close nominations on said names. All those in favor of the roll call vote?
Supervisor Brown.
Aye.
Supervisor Kane.
Aye.
Supervisor Conwell.
Aye.
Chair A. Strong.
Aye. At this time, can I get a motion that we approve these 2 for the Meharry Regional Library Board?
I make a motion that we approve McKenna Jordan and Terry Lee.
Yes.
To the second one, regional library.
Second.
It's been moved to second that we appoint Terry Lee and McKenna Jordan to the Meharry Regional Library Board. All those in favor of the roll call vote?
Supervisor Brown.
Aye.
Supervisor Kane.
Aye.
Supervisor Conwell.
Aye.
Chair A. Strong.
Aye. At this time, request for advertising of public hearing for IT tax rate. Ms. Slate?
Good evening. Thank you for adding this to your agenda. It's something that we've been talking about for a while, and after speaking with the attorney, Mr. Slayton, we need to start the process. It takes about a month or so to advertise and do this properly. So the legislation in the state allows for a special IT rate for personal property tax. This is supposed to be an incentive to attract data centers. Their computers and accessories are taxed as personal property, not machinery and tools. So in order to try to attract them and help incentivize them to come to certain areas, there are many communities that have adopted a lower personal property tax rate specifically for IT equipment. These are some of the ones that are in the state of Virginia. They range everywhere from 45 cents to $4.50 is the most, is the only specialized one that high. You see several of them have not adopted rates. I don't know if those communities are not interested in data centers or if they just haven't had one interested enough to adopt a rate yet. We do have a lot of interest, and some of them have asked if we are considering this. So just to kind of go over what I put up here, for every 5 cent tax on a 250,000 square foot facility, which is about an average facility, some are bigger, some are smaller, we would collect about $37,000 $250,500 for every 5-cent rate. If you'll go to the next one, that'll kind of help. So for one building that's 250,000 square foot, an adjusted rate of 90 cents would give us $675,000 per building. $1.25 would go up to $937,500 per building. We do have a lot of interest, and we have one that is very far along in the process, and they anticipate having anywhere from 12 to 15 buildings. So for 12 buildings at 90 cents, you would get $8.1 million in tax, and at 125, you would get 11.25. It is certainly your decision and up to you. Staff would recommend a 95 cent. I think that's nice right in the middle. It shows them that we want them, but it doesn't undercut what we would benefit from the tax rate. But certainly I wanted to show you all of them to see if you had conversations or thoughts about a different rate. So the first question I would ask is what rate you would like to advertise.
I never get into consideration.
I'm sorry?
Never thought about it. So. And then I'm gonna assume this is per year.
Yes, sir. Once at full build out, yes.
Okay,
So
okay.
it is an annual tax, so you would collect this per year. That's correct.
Well, I would say that, maybe you've had the conversation, so we did talk about the 95 cents and the reason, so I have no problem with 95 cents.
I'm fine with 95 cents.
Then if I'm correct, staff would ask for a motion to authorize staff to advertise a public hearing that will be held at the next full board meeting on July 6th to adopt an ordinance for an IT specialized personal property rate. Did I say that correctly?
I make a motion that we direct staff to advertise the public hearing for the 95% tax rate. Second.
It's been moved and second that we authorize staff to do the public hearing for the tax rate of 95 cents. All those in favor, roll call.
Supervisor Brown.
Aye.
Supervisor Kane.
Aye.
Supervisor Conwell. Chair Estrop.
Aye. At this time, can I get a motion that we adjourn to fiscal year 27 budget adoption meeting, Wednesday, June 17th at 10 a.m. at the Greensville County Government Building? It's been moved and second that we adjourn to June 17th. All those in favor, roll call.
Supervisor Brown.
Aye.
Supervisor Kane.
Aye.
Supervisor Conwell.
Aye.
Chair Estrop.
Aye.
Okay, I'd like to call the Green County Water and Sewer Authority agenda to order. Roll call.
Supervisor Estrop.
Present.
Supervisor Kane.
Aye.
Supervisor Conwell.
Present.
Chair Brown.
Aye. Can I get a motion to approve of the agenda? I move to approve the agenda as presented.
Second.
Been moved and second. Roll call.
Supervisor Estrop.
Aye.
Supervisor Kane.
Aye.
Supervisor Conwell.
Aye.
Chair Brown.
Aye. Next, I need approval of the consent agenda. Consists of the minutes and the warrants.
So moved.
Second. Been moved and second. Roll call.
Supervisor Estrop.
Aye.
Supervisor Kane.
Aye.
Supervisor Conwell.
Aye.
Chair Brown.
Aye. Next, we have item of appointment, none, old business, none, new business, resolution WS 26-14.
Good evening, board members. Keith Sanders, Assistant Director of the Water and Sewer Authority. Resolution WS 2614 passed that the board approve the authority to request funds and apply for funds for improvement to our water system in the county. Do you have any questions?
No questions. I know it's something that has to be done.
I make the motion we approve resolution WS 26-14.
And second.
Been moved and second, that we approve resolution WS 26-14. Roll call.
Supervisor Estrop.
Aye.
Supervisor Kane.
Aye.
Supervisor Conwell.
Aye.
Chair Brown.
Aye. Next, adjournment. Can I get a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Been moved and second. Roll call.
Supervisor Estrop. Supervisor Kane. Supervisor Conwell.
Aye.
Chair Brown.
Thank you.